All right, everybody. Our next guest is a hilarious guy who has been in the comedy game for a long time and has been on everything. He was the finalist on season 6 of Last Comic Standing. He was on The Tonight Show. He was on Chelsea Lately, MTV, VH1, True TV, CBS, Comedy Central, and now he could finally add GOVS Radio to his resume. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Hunter. Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging in there. I mean, it's like, but things are good. Actually, it's been a good, last couple of days have been really good. So
Well, that's awesome, man. What's going on that's been really good, dude?
I got booked for a music video I shot yesterday, which is fun with, I think Dr. Dre's going to be in it.
Nice.
Cameo tomorrow. And then, doing I got an hour comedy special I'm shooting in November 4th in Las Vegas. So I'm like getting ready for that. And then, a movie audition came in today, so it was like it's been a good
Wow.
one of those things. And they've been coming in like people that like knew me. It's like different than when like your agent gets you an audition versus like people that so
Yeah, man, that's great, dude. It seems like yesterday the first time I ever saw you, like a lot of people probably, was on MTV, that True Life thing.
Yeah,
and it was a long time ago. I don't even know how long ago that was, but I remember this True Life thing, and I was also an aspiring comedian, and watching you kind of go through the trials and tribulations and trying to get past over there at the comic strip. It was good times, man.
Sarah, you want to dance? Right now I'm not a professional comedian. I think I'm a professional comedian, but none of the clubs do. I'm not paying myself, so.
I don't know how good of times that was. It was definitely there were definitely times. I mean, I started in New York City and doing comedy in New York, and I think at that time I was a year into it, or like even less than that. And they called me up and said, "You want to be on this MTV show?" And I was like, "Sure." I didn't even know what it was, and I didn't even really. I knew I wasn't going to pass at the comic strip because they failed me the week before.
Your opener was really good because it captures you in a nice way. But Adam, I still am having problems with your set building from start to finish.
And they were just doing it again for the thing, and then my dad told me, he's like, "Get ready to fail." I'm like, "Thanks, Dad, for the vote of confidence."
I don't mind when he talks about me on stage. It's it used to bother me a little bit when he used to point me out.
But it was cool. I mean, at that time, I dropped out of college to become a comic, a full-time comic, and I was giving out flyers.
Yeah, man.
I think Gladys's for 3-4 years in Times Square before I opened up my own club with Dave Rubin and Joe Franklin's, and those were some of the best, funniest, but also like the hardest. Giving out flyers in the freezing cold, convincing tourists to come see you. Lying to them, telling them that there was going to be like Chris Rock or comics that weren't there.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld stops in all the time.
that was. And then the people were like, "Wait, that's the guy that gave me the flyer." Those were some brutal days.
I haven't seen my mom in like 15 years. I don't know where she is. That was tough, First my mom left. Then Luke Perry left Beverly Hills, 90210.
I mean, they definitely earn your stripes, earn your keeps, and also it definitely hardens you and makes you really think about whether or not you want to do this or not.
You got to love it. You got to love it to just like anything. You got to really love it to go all in, to quit college for it. You got to really love it, man. Are you a Long Island guy? Are you from Long Island?
Yeah, I'm from Oceanside, Long Island.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah.
Well, where are you from?
I grew up in Brentwood, the luxurious, beautiful town of Brentwood, and now I'm out here in Manorville. All the way out east.
You went EPMD, right?
Yeah, EPMD. There you go. I grew up. They were in my high school.
Listen, when I tell you, boy, you got some shit out.
Wow. Yeah, they were a good rap group.
Yeah, man. EPMD, and I also used to work at Toys R Us with Craig Mack, the late great Craig Mack, Flavor in Your Ear. Yeah.
I'm kicking new flavor in your ear.
So we used to actually rap battle. And he would always.
No way, really?
Yeah, we used to. It wasn't like a hardcore like rap battles today. It was more like he would just mess around and basically make fun of me, and then I would have to respond the best I could.
You got long tongues on your shoes. You ain't got nothing to lose. I like to get in my car and cruise. Sometimes when my alarm goes off early, I hit the snooze.
But it was fun. It was great. It was great. And that was about 2 years before he blew up with Flavor in Your Ear.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, man, it was good times indeed, man. But yeah, I knew you were a Long Island dude, and that's cool. And you ever play Governors? You ever do the club here? Any of the local Long Island scene?
Yeah, when I first started, I did like the new talent night over at Governors. I think Tom Ignio was booking it. I'm not sure if he's still booking it, but that was like the last time I did it. I think I bombed so bad. I was like 6 months in. I thought I was the funniest comic ever, and it did not go well. People just stared at me, and I was like, "Whoa, this didn't go very well." But I think that was like the first and last time I worked Governors.
Where you going? I'm Vanilla Pudding. Don't leave.
What's cool about your career too is that a lot of it's all on record, like you said, like from the True Life. You're only about a year in. There you are, this young kind of green comedian working, the laundromats, and then it shows you're progressing all the way to now. You got a
national television debut. Please welcome the very funny Adam Hunter.
Adam Hunter, come on, y'all.
Please make some noise for Adam Hunter.
Give it up for my man, Adam Hunter.
Very funny comedian Adam Hunter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, you may have seen him on The Tonight Show. He has the dubious distinction. I think it's a great credit. He was the last proper stand-up set ever performed on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome Mr. Adam Hunter?
Sometimes I have to look back when I'm not feeling like very like gracious or blessed, and like, and then like I remember I had like a billboard in Las Vegas. It was a billboard in Las Vegas.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Man.
I mean, I was like, back when I was started out, I didn't think I was gonna have a billboard in Las Vegas, So if you would have told me like, hey, if you stick with this in 20 years, you'll have a billboard in Las Vegas or you'll be on Jay Leno, I would have been like, yeah, that's awesome.
All right, and my next guest, a very talented comedian from New York City, making his very first appearance on The Tonight Show. Please welcome Adam Hunter. Adam!
Sometimes I think people get in the habits of looking at other people and, measuring their success versus their, and it's not really fun but it happens at every level, man. I mean, like I opened up for like some of the biggest comics in the world. I mean, guys that sold out, guys like Russell Peters and even they're doing that, so it's not like it ever stops.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to somehow find some zen and not look at other people's success compared to your success. It's hard not to do that. And it used to be hard doing like the road. I'd be in, I don't know, Des Moines, Iowa, or, Columbia, Missouri, just some place. And I feel like I had the best set, and I sold like 10 CDs, 20 CDs. And I felt like I was the greatest comic in the world. And you get that high, that super high. And then you go back to your hotel and it's like the Holiday Inn Express or the Super 8 or whatever. And you're sitting there and then you go on Facebook and people are like, hey, I just booked the Tonight Show, or I just did this, or I did my hour special, or and you just start feeling like bad about your life. And then you put on TV and you see like 6 comics that you saw the commercial you auditioned for or didn't get it. And you see this comic has a show on Fox, and then before you know it, you're like depressed again. And it's really important to not do that.
This now is getting fucking awkward. Am I talking shit? I'm the comic. That's kind of what I get paid to do. I don't come to the gas station like, you pumping gas?
So, and I agree. I always try to only focus on where I'm at, because it's really easy to get caught up in the Joneses or what others are doing, especially in people in your field. But do you think that kind of that there is a positive to it, where it helps drive you, where you're like, oh, this dude who I came up with is now starring in a movie, man, I'm going to try to work even harder? Or could it be
I think as long as it goes back to I'm going to work harder, I think as long as like it goes back to, yeah, I'm going to write the next best joke, or I'm going to work on my act. I think a lot of times people complain, but they don't actually it doesn't go back to work.
Right.
Go back to complaining. I think that's the most important thing, as long as I'm creating new jokes and writing new jokes and working on new jokes, I'm happy. It's when I'm not doing that is when I start to get kind of depressed and stuff. And this pandemic's been hard because it basically took away stand-up comedy. I mean, I still do Zoom shows, and I'm doing comedy in the park, and I do this show or that show, but it took away that thing that it took away like my drug, you know, and that drug is the laughter to me. I did a couple shows recently, and I never felt happier to be on stage. You know, I've never felt more appreciative of like, wow, this is what I was born to do. This is what I want to do.
The election's coming up. I like Bernie Sanders, but he wants to make college free, and that's going to ruin strip clubs.
And also the crowds are like, you know, sometimes you walk a couple people or people hate you, and that wasn't the situation at all. Like they were actually happy to be out there too, listening to jokes. So.
Right, man.
I love this job. I got fired from my last job. I was a Catholic school teacher, and I got fired because I'm Jewish, and I was only teaching part 1.
Yeah, because everybody realizes what we've lost. You know, the audience and the performers, and like you said, that you have a whole new, you know, you're more thankful for it, a whole new appreciation for it.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is hard because they got to space the crowds out. So a lot of times, like, you know, you would tell people don't sit people in the back if it's not a full room, you know.
Right. Yeah.
6 foot together. But now all of a sudden you can't be together. Literally, you're not allowed to put people together.
Right.
So it's like every table is like their own audience in some ways.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like you really see like, oh, I'm killing at that table and that table, but that table hates me. So that's like another thing to kind of another obstacle that the comedians have to get used to. But whatever.
Right.
Nothing's ever perfect.
Some very beautiful ladies here. I love Asian women. I do. That's why I hang out at traffic school.
Yeah. Hey, at least your clubs are still open. We're shut down here in New York.
Oh, we're shut down in LA.
Oh, the clubs are shut down there too.
Yeah. I was in Minnesota and Arizona doing like week-longs.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm doing comedy in like the park outside tomorrow. Just like, ugh.
Well, I tell you, I saw you on one of the Zoom shows recently. Steve Marshall was on the bill. I forget who else, and you killed, dude. I was like, I was like, wow, this. You know, I've seen a lot of Zoom acts, and everyone does well, and I always appreciate the efforts, but very rarely, you know. Again, I only watch so many Zooms in a day, but. You killed on it. I was actually like belly laughing at some of the stuff.
We have a girl. Initially, I wanted a boy because I want to teach him how to fight. So hopefully when she grows up, she'll be a lesbian. Lesbians make the best fighters because they make the tightest fists. Just so you know.
Oh, God. Yes.
Well, first of all, everyone does not do well. You're being nice. I think that people, I think that comics don't take Zoom shows seriously. I think that they think it's just like a way for them to just, it's like a therapy session or something. And I think that, like, you know, also you're home. It's sort of like, it always bothered me with comedians when they saw like like an empty crowd, like 10, 12 people, and they sat down on the stool and opened up their notebook and they used it as like, especially people paid, you know. It's one thing if it really was an open mic or something and whatever, or it's like a late spot and people know that they come to a club at 2:00 in the morning, so they're going to see.
Right.
But I'm always like, man, why are you taking out your frustration on people that showed up? Like they came.
Right. Like, exactly. Yeah.
Why are we not giving them a show? Like, why would you not treat them the same as you would if there was 1,000 people? Like, that always sort of, I never understood that. And same thing with Zoom. I'm always like, okay, you really stand out if you have jokes. I mean, granted, jokes don't always work, but at the same time, it's like, also you could have your jokes next to you on the screen.
Right.
It's not
right.
like,
Yeah.
It's actually the easiest way to work on new material because you can just look at them.
The baby was actually 3 weeks late. So I was worried the father might be black. And
but some comics, like I book a Zoom show, and there are comics I won't have back because I'm like, it's obviously this person put no effort into this and doesn't care if anyone laughs or even is enjoying themselves. I don't even know why this person's even doing this.
And they don't realize too that sometimes on Zoom it is, you know, like if you're watching the numbers of that, like let's say the numbers are on Zoom aren't great, like you got like 25 people watching or something.
Yeah.
But you still, what they don't understand is that those can still get shared and seen down the road At other times, if
You
someone
don't know
gets
who those people are. I mean, those people, you have no idea who those people are.
right,
It's,
exactly, you don't know who they are either.
I mean, I so many times I've seen people like, yeah, there were 6 people in the crowd, but one of them was casting a movie,
Right.
and then they put you in that movie, especially in LA or New York.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm not gonna like battle comedians. The problem is that I think comics see amazing comics do it, and do it like a guy like Patrice or Bill Burr or Chappelle, or he'll sit on the stool, smoke a cigarette, look, and they'll be like, "Oh well, if they can do it, then I can do it." I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah,
It's different. Just because Roy Jones Jr. can put his hands behind his back in a fight and not get knocked out doesn't mean that you can do that.
right. Exactly.
Whatever. Shane Mosley learned that last Saturday night. Again.
Yeah, there is a elite breed in every field you go into, and there's always, it always seems like there's up and comers that think that they could reach that elite status right out of the gates, and it's not so by any means. But yeah, like you said, I do agree totally with you about always giving your best show, regardless of the size of the audience, regardless if it's Zoom or if it's in front of a small crowd or a huge crowd. You always got to treat it as if it's the biggest crowd there is, and give the best.
Yeah.
And I think your kind of work ethic, does that come from your wrestling background? You were like a pretty elite wrestler, right?
Yeah, I won the New England 4 times in high school, every year, and then I got a scholarship to Hofstra. I didn't take it. I ended up going to Binghamton, wrestled for a little bit, and then just sort of kind of I was losing too much weight, and I wasn't enjoying it, and I was kind of got depressed. That's a whole other chapter. But yeah, I mean, in wrestling, it's just like there was no excuse to not try your hardest. And that was the only way you got any better. And I think with comedy, it's the same way. I mean, I started comedy, and there were like, I don't know, so many comics out there, and I wasn't the best comic. I wasn't even close to the best comic, but I was the one who stuck with it.
Adam Hunter!
Thank you. A lot of times talent is like the thing that's going to fuck you up the most, is that, especially natural talent, because people don't think that they have to work as hard, or they get lazy, or they don't actually, write new stuff and stuff like that. So, you have to, you gotta work hard,
Exactly,
so.
man. And that's how I look at it too. I think a lot of times, if you look at somebody who's got natural talent and you're like, man, if that guy only had the work ethic to go with it, he'd be like, Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
You've done everything you came here to do?
Not yet.
Then do it, boy. You've got 27 seconds left. You're down 4 points. Forget your nose. Forget about everything. You've got to go out there and stick him.
But I do know that you're a big wrestling guy, and you remember the movie Vision Quest, right?
Of course.
Vision Quest, for those younger people not watching, was a great movie that came out like in the mid 80s, and it was about a wrestler, and the whole movie was about wrestling. And I was a wrestler at the time too in Brentwood High School. My weight class, I believe I was 160, which is pretty heavy for a kid.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was a tough weight class, but that movie inspired me, man. I wanted to be Loudon Swain so bad.
That movie got it was actually a great movie, and then there were some weird parts to it, like the part where he got molested.
Now step back to the left, move your arms. Step back to the left, stack your arms the other way. Step out.
I think I got it now.
For no reason.
Yeah, in the hotel. Yeah,
it was a normal movie, and then all of a sudden he was helping a guy who grabbed his cock, and then he but it was that was, I'm like, why did that happen?
There was never any rhyme or reason for that.
Maybe they just thought that wrestling was gay because all the touching, so they had to show that he wasn't gay, but they couldn't do it in the wrestling. That was just strange.
Just leave the tray by the door when you're finished.
there was like some weird, and like Madonna was in the movie.
Madonna's first movie. Like, but it was before Madonna really blew up.
Yeah.
Like, Crazy for You, that was the song.
And then the guy lied about being Indian. Like, that was like also straight.
Come on, Cooch, man. You could be the first Indian president.
Sure, man, except for one thing, I ain't no fucking Indian. It's just shit I made up in my head.
He was like what's the name of that congresswoman?
Oh, Pocahontas or whatever.
Like the original whatever her name is.
Like the Seminole, Navajo, Kickapoo, like those Indians, I'm an Indian too.
Yeah, he was doing was it race appropriation before it was fashionable, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But we do a thing called Zoom Theater, and I wanted to see if you wanted to do a scene from Vision Quest. A real quick. All right, awesome, man. So here we go, Zoom Theater.
You knew I was half Indian, huh?
Yeah, I figured it was something like that.
I figured you need big medicine to grab to shoot. So last night, smoked a pipe. I had a session with the Everywhere Spirit. That's where it was revealed to me what you're really doing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what am I doing?
You're on a vision quest, man. You're trying to find your place in the circle.
I just want to wrestle shoot, okay?
Oh. Okay.
And scene. Well done, Adam. That was great, man. Well, Adam Hunter, I appreciate you taking the time, my friend. Anything? Where can people find you, and what do you got coming up next?
Well, follow me on Instagram at AdamComedian or AdamHunter.com or Twitter at AdamComedian. I'm doing a Flappers live virtual show from a comedy club next Friday night. You could find it. I'll be posting links all over my social media starting tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck with everything, dude. You rock. I really appreciate this, man. Like I said, Long Island guy, I've been following you since that MTV thing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Don.
Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, hello, this is Chris Fairbanks from the wildly popular podcast Do You Need a Ride, with a very special announcement. This is good news. Don Sills Show put up Shut Up and Stand Up from the Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, New York. I believe I'm saying that right. It's a show that they do in an alley behind Comedy Club. Governor's Comedy Club, I believe, which is why it's GOVS radio show. Anyway, this just in, the show itself and the information it provides has proven to prevent COVID. The only thing people have been doing is wearing these N93 masks, which if you wear them too much, the virus can connect to that. The great thing about this show is through the airwaves, it will enter your ears and into your face, where the virus resides in the nasal passage. You see the ears are nearby, and the sound waves have known themselves to break. They know themselves that they will break up the virus and send it right out your nostrils. So you can infect other people, but it will relieve you of the virus. So it's great news. Be sure and spread the word. I don't know that any scientists have backed this up.